Well, hello, students. This is going to be the first series of the lecture for today on the topic summary of decision making. And I want you to be able to refer to your PowerPoints as I am, talking about, doing the lecture part of this presentation. So, decision making, how important it is. Essentially, what your book does is it talks about the four approaches to decision making in organizations. And they are the rational, behavioral economics, organizational psychology, and naturalistic approaches. All of these approaches will illustrate the benefits and decisions that limits on the decisions when they need to be made. Many decisions, in theory, are good decisions. However, when we put them into practice, sometimes these decisions can prove to be less than satisfactory. Emerging considerations of decision making focus on understanding how decisions are made and the relationship between actual decision making and the ultimate success of the decision. We also have to consider the conditions or types of organizations under which these decisions were made. Decision makers need to focus on how to put the decision into operation, as well as follow rules about good decision making. So let's talk about that a little bit. Going to your PowerPoint slides, I would essentially refer you for this chapter, section, to PowerPoint slide 2 and 3. And that would be look at the learning objectives, which are describe programmed and non-programmed decision making, recognize the 6-step process of rational decision making. 8.3 is describe the behavioral economic based decision making approach to overcome biases and errors. 8.4 identify the organizational psychology based approach to decision making. 8.5 discuss the importance of the 5 activities in natural decision making. And 8.6 apply concepts of decision making to organizations. So the first thing I'd like to talk about here is programmed and non-programmed decision making. And if you go to slide number 5, there are 4 rational approaches to decision making. And rational is perfect and objective information. And also probability uncertainty. Behavioral economics, mental accounting, framing, and heuristics. If you go to slide number 6, there are 4 approaches to decision making. Continued. Organizational psychology, which is bound rationality. An example might be satisficing garbage cans. Naturalistic might be experience, intuition, and sense making. So go to slide 7 on probability and uncertainty. Probability, certainty, and uncertainty are things that we're certainly going to talk about in this section. Now, there are 6 steps of rational decision making. And it's very much like the critical method that I've talked to you about in past classes. We want to identify the problem or opportunity. We want to identify the criteria of decisions. We want to identify alternatives. Look at the weights of those alternatives and evaluate each one of them, and then select the best ones. So I want to talk about first programmed and non-programmed decision making. And that's going back to slide number 3 and 4. Okay, so I want you to look at this neat YouTube video that I'm putting on regarding programmed and non-programmed decision making.